بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So the methodology of our Imams was based on three steps, three items. One is tamreen. We spoke about it extensively, tamreen. They train their students to be faqih. They train them through different methods. The second one was ta'leef. Ta'leef, which is what? Ta'leef is? Authoring. Ahsan. They encourage them to write. Put your knowledge on paper. If you don't put your knowledge on paper, you forget. First of all, you have to write. Once you listen to the lesson, you must write it down. This is the law that's presented by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In his hadith, "Ista'in ala hifdhika biyaminik." If you want to memorize, if you don't want to forget, because we forget soon. We learn something today, tomorrow you forget it. So put it down, write it down. Ta'leef. And the Imams, Imam al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq, encourage their students, disciples, the top ones, the intelligent ones, to write it down, to write, keep writing. And therefore they introduced a huge pool of books in the riwayah, in the hadith section, which is narrations, in the fiqh section, jurisprudence, in the tafsir, plenty of books. And I mentioned two bibliographers last time who put in their books the name of those Shia authors with their books. Do you remember the name of those two bibliographers? Each one of them has an encyclopedia. And the encyclopedia is called Rijal. Rijal means men. Men of what? Hadith. So who are those two authors? If you look at your papers, you remember them. One of them is Al-Kashfi. The second one, At-Tusi. Ahsant. So those two, they enlist the names, hundreds, rather thousands of names of those scholars and ashab, the ashab of the Imams, the disciples of the Imams, and their work too, their books that they wrote, these two, bibliographers, those are bibliographers. Then we come to the third, my dearest, we come to the third point, how Imams nurtured and trained their students to be fuqaha, to be faqih. So number one was tamreen. Number two was ta'leef, authoring. What was number three? Tawthiq. Tawthiq means what, my friends? Ahsan. What is the root of tawthiq? Can someone tell me the root of it? Tawthiq comes from what? Thiqah. Thiqah means trusted or a trust. Thiqah means a trust. Okay? Mawthuq means what? Mawthuq means what? This is a trust. This is a trust. Thiqah is a trust. Mawthuq is what?
The thing or person that's trusted.
Trusted or trustworthy? Trustworthy. Mawthuq. This person is mawthuq. We accept his narrations. He doesn't lie. Okay? Mawthuq. And sometimes the hadith is also described as what? موثقة. أحسنت. موثقة فلان عن الإمام الصادق. موثقة. موثقة. Yeah. موثقة means the hadith, that the narrations. This is the description of the narration is موثقة. One piece of hadith is called موثقة. Sometimes it's called صحيحة. And there is a difference between صحيحة and موثقة. Both of them are true. But we have to come to that inshallah. Maybe next time, next lesson, next class I'm going to differentiate and define between the types of hadith inshallah. So, tawthiq is the process of what? The process of evaluating the narrators. There is a process where we evaluate the narrators. We put them into categories. So they are not all the same. Depending on what, my friends? How do we evaluate them? Depending on their money, on their how handsome they are, how Arabs they are, how,
Trustworthiness.
Exactly, trustworthiness, amana, honesty, integrity, moral integrity. They put them into categories because not people are exactly the same. Now, that wouldn't create a conflict when you start categorizing, judging people, profiling them. What do you think about that? What do you think? Is this okay?
It's natural, but it's a natural thing, natural reaction people have.
It is relative, this definition of, okay, how you can evaluate someone, because
First of all, these things happens after their death, not during their lifetime, after their death. And it happens by people who are expert. They read about their life. Maybe they didn't meet them during their lifetime. They came 200 years, 300 years, 500 years after them, 1,000 years after them. They never met them, but they go and search about them. They dig into the history, read about their stories, their standing, their relationship to the Imams. What did the Imams say about them? Because the Imams would comment on their disciples. They give comments. Sometimes in their presence, sometimes in their absence. How oftentimes the Imam says, listen, if I am not available, go to Fulan, Muhammad ibn Muslim. He's my thiqah. Whatever he tells you, he's my student. He's my confidant. I trust him. Or go to Fulan. So they go to see what the Imam said about those, and they put it in their biography. When they write the book about them, so they evaluate them. And this evaluation is very important. Why? Because the hadith, the acceptance of the hadith or the rejection of the hadith depends on the evaluation. How do I know that this hadith is really maqtu' as-sudur? Maqtu' as-sudur means definitely came from the Imam Ma'soom. Definitely. How do I know? I have to have this. The process of evaluation and creditation. Creditation also. You may call it creditation, evaluation. So during the time the Imams would endorse them. Endorsement. Okay? The Imam, our Imam, especially the two Imams, Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, and later on Imam al-Ridha also. Imam al-Ridha, before him, Imam al-Kadhim. They used to endorse their students. So when they get endorsed, you know this guy is safe. You can take the knowledge from him. You can depend on him. When he transmits a riwayah, even if he's one person, even if this riwayah comes only from this source, there are no other sources, you can accept it from him because he has a high stand, in the eyes of our Imams. And this tawthiq, my friends, tawthiq, this one, was mostly in two areas. In two areas. Okay? First of all, in the area of riwayah. riwayah is reference to what? When I say riwayah, I'm speaking about what? Specifically about what? When I say riwayah. Hadith? Yeah, I'm speaking about hadith, okay? Narration. I'm speaking about narration, riwayah. So the Imams endorsed specific people and they said, you may listen to them and take our riwayat from them. They are a source of riwayat. They are credible, they are authentic, they are endorsed. As an example, someone by the name of Aban ibn Taghlub. Before we go to this, let me put the name of 12. Sorry. Let me write them. So, one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those are the top narrators of hadith. Ruwat. Narrators is ruwat. Ruwat. Narrators of hadith. Ruwat who were very trustworthy in the school of Ahlul Bayt. Very close disciples to our Imams. And these are their names, beginning with the most trusted. Now, some of them were the disciples of the two Imams, some of them were disciples of one Imam. The first 6 are the disciples of the two Imams. Who are the two Imams when I say two Imams? Exactly, the 5th and the 6th. Always remember, always. When they say Imamain here, why those? We have 12 Imams. Why we are speaking about the 5th and the 6th? Why?
Because they're the ones that started the...
Exactly, because this renaissance, the emergence of hadith and fiqh started during their time. They are the founding fathers of the Ja'fari fiqh. Founding fathers. So Imam al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq. Those 6 are the students of both Imams. So they lived during the era of both Imams. Number 1, Zurara ibn A'yun. I write it in Arabic. If you want me to write it in English, I will write. Which one do you want? Huh? English? Really? English does not give the exact, I will transliterate. Okay, let me write it in Arabic. Zurara ibn A'yun. Zurara. His first name is Zurara and he's very famous and he's the top one, the top of the list, who was very trusted by both Imams. And he's from the city of Kufa, so his last name is Al-Kufi, his family name. The second is Ma'ruf ibn Kharbudh. Ma'ruf ibn Kharbudh is a little bit strange. So his father was Kharbudh, I don't know. So that's number 2. The third one, Burayd ibn Muawiyah. Burayd ibn Muawiyah. That is number 3. Number 4, Abu Basir al-Azdi. Abu Basir al-Azdi. Now, some people say he's not Abu Basir al-Azdi. Abu Basir al-Muradi. They put another name, al-Muradi here. Okay? Abu Basir. These are top names, very famous. When you read our books of hadith, these names come up all the time. You memorize them by heart. So that was number 4. Number 5, Al-Fudayl ibn Yasar. Al-Fudayl ibn Yasar. And number 6, Muhammad ibn Muslim al-Thaqafi. He should be at the top of the list, but I don't know why they put him here. Okay? Muhammad ibn Muslim is very popular. So those are the 2 imams. We come to the other 6 who are the students of which imam? Only one imam. Which one? 6 imam. Imam al-Sadiq. Who are they? They are Jamil ibn Darraj. Jamil ibn Darraj. Number 2, Abdullah ibn Muskan. Abdullah ibn Muskan. 3, Abdullah ibn Bukair. Abdullah ibn Bukair. 4, Hamad ibn Isa. Hamad ibn Isa. Then Hamad ibn Uthman. And then the last one, Aban ibn Uthman. Aban ibn Uthman. Of course, they are not brothers, those guys, huh? Nothing to do with friends. So those are the top narrators of hadith where you find most of the ahadith are attributed to them. There are the top of the class. Class what? Class what year?
Between 91 and 148.
From that era onward. Top of the class. Those were the top of the class. Those were fuqaha, jurists, the most trusted students, sacrificing because their life was not easy, to stick to the imam and learn from him and do not succumb to intimidation and threats and stay with the imam for so many years, 2 decades, 3 decades. You go to his class, you listen to him, and the imam raises you. It's not easy. Those are the students who brought us the fiqh of Ahl. Not only those, but those are the top. There are others. We will come across other names. Again, heavyweight names. But those are the top ones. So the imams said to one of them, he said, I went to visit the imam. فَلَمَّا أَرَدْتُ أَنْ أُفَارِقَهُ. When I was leaving the imam, وَدَّعْتُهُ, I bid farewell to the imam. وَقُلْتُ, on the way out, I asked the imam al-Sadiq. I said to him, أُحِبُّ أَن تُزَوِّدَنِي. I love for you to advise me, give me an advice. The imam said to him, قال, ائتِ أبان بن تغلب. ائتِ أبان بن تغلب. His name is not here. There is another Aban. ائتِ أبان بن تغلب. فإنه, this is another one. See, I said it's not only 12, there are more. Aban ibn Taghlub. Taghlub. Okay? Aban ibn Taghlub al-Kufi. Come to him, visit him. إنه قد سمع مني حديثا كثيرا. Aban ibn Taghlub has memorized many of my hadith and my sayings. So in my absence, come to him, go and visit him, learn from him. فَمَا رَوَى لَكَ عَنِّي فَأَرْوِهِ عَنِّي. فَمَا رَوَى, whatever he passes to you, you learn from him, also you can pass it to others. So in this hadith, what did the Imam do? What do we call this a process? When he is referring someone to someone else to go and learn from him. Huh? Yes, what do we call it in Arabic? Number 3. What did we put number 3 on the board? Tawthiq. Tawthiq. This is the process of Tawthiq, because the Imam gave a recommendation letter, recommendation statement to Aban ibn Taghlib, that I trust him. He learned, he was my student, he's trustworthy. So you may go and listen to her and take the hadith from him because he's trustworthy. You don't have to worry. Yes, yes.
Which Imam was that?
Imam al-Sadiq. This is the student of Imam al-Sadiq. Okay? And then another story. Someone by the name of Abdullah ibn Abi Ya'fur, which is also a very credible man and very famous in the among the community of our Imams, Abdullah ibn Abi Ya'fur. He said to the Imam, to the sixth Imam, Imam Sadiq, إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ كُلُّ سَاعَةٍ أَلْقَاكَ. I don't have access to it access to you every time I want you. وَلَا يُمْكِنُ الْقُدُومِ. I can't come to Medina. Okay? Maybe he was in Basra or Kufa, long distances. You can't take a flight and go. Maybe every 10 years, once in 10 years and 5 years. وَيَجِيء الرَّجُلُ مِنْ أَصْحَابِنَا. Sometimes people from our community, they come, وَيَسْأَلُنِي وَلَيْسَ عِنْدِي. I don't have the answer and I don't have access to you. What do you recommend? قال, the Imam said to him, فَمَا يَمْنَعُكَ. Why don't you go to Muhammad ibn Muslim al-Thaqafi? Number 6. Why don't you go to this man? Huh? فإنه قد سمع من أبي وكان عنده وجيها. Not only he was my student, he was the student of my father, Imam al-Baqir. وكان عنده وجيها. To my father, this man is a very honorable wajih. Wajih is mentioned in the Quran. God says about Musa, وكان عند الله وجيها. He had a special place with God. He was very honored by God, respected, loved, beloved by God. Wajih. This is the kalima of wajih. Okay? Wajih is an honorable man. So he was an honorable man to my father, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir. Go and listen to him and ask him the questions. If you don't have access to me, this man. So this process of referring him to Muhammad ibn Muslim is called what? Tawthiq. Not tawfiq, huh? We have Sa'id, Yaqubi, and we have another family called Tawfiq. Huh?
With the same name. Okay.
Yeah. It's not Tawfiq. Tawthiq. Big difference. Tawfiq means success. Muwaffaq, from success. Tawthiq means endorsement. He has a letter of recommendation of the Imams. So this is in the field of hadith. We come to the second field, where the Imams would also write a different letter of recommendation. This is a letter of recommendation of what? Integrity, honesty. This man is a truthful, honest, trustworthy. Whatever he tells you is correct, is it true. He doesn't cheat, he doesn't lie. But there is another letters of recommendation or statements of recommendations that our Imams used to issue to their students. In what field? What sort of letter of recommendation? This one is about being honest. What was the second one?
Your knowledge, yeah.
Exactly. Their expertise in fiqh. He's faqih. This guy is faqih. And they are two different things. Someone could be trustworthy, but he's not faqih. He transfers the knowledge from here to there. But someone else is faqih. No, he's expert in this field. I give him shahada, certificate of expertise, of ijtihad. And this shahada, this certificate started from the time of our Imams until today. Students who go to the seminary, They study under one alim, 5 years, 7 years, sometimes 10 years, sometimes 30 years. 30 years, believe me, I've seen students 30 years with one scholar. Then he writes them a letter of ijtihad, ijaza. It's called ijaza. Ijazatul ijtihad. Ijaza, this is like, what do we get from the school? Graduation? Well, certificate of diploma, something like that. This is ijaza. It's called ijaza, ijazatul ijtihad. Means ijaza means permission to get involved in the process of ijtihad. So you are mujtahid now. If they ask you a question, you may answer. You may answer using your own intelligence, your own fatwa. You are capable. You reach the stage where you can issue a fatwa. And this is not easy, believe me. Some ulama never gave ijazat. Some ulama in the school of Ahl Bayt, they didn't dare. They said, I can't. Yeah, I know him. This is intelligent, but I really cannot. It's not easy for me to issue a permission, ijaza, of ijtihad. They died and they gave not a single one. Others they gave 2, 3, 4. Others gave 50. It depends. It depends because this requires courage to give. It's like giving the tools to someone, a physician, giving the tools to a surgeon, another surgeon, his students, and saying, you do the surgery. You perform the surgery. Big responsibility. Naam, Habibi.
Yeah, the one who receives this is a mujtahid.
Yes, yes. He must have. No one can become just mujtahid. He says, I am a mujtahid. Where's your certificate? Show me. Show me your ijazah. And some ulama, they have from so many, not just 1 or 2. Some maraja, they had 20 certificates. From this, from this, from this, from this. Some of them had 10, some of them had 1, some of them had none. None. Yes.
Meaning he can be
Marja.
marja.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is the first step to be a marja. The first step is to obtain ijazah. But then after that, you have to be ready, you have to have akhlaq, manners. Not everyone who gets this ijtihada is qualified to be marja. No. This is one of them, one of the qualifications. The others, you have to prove that you can deal with the society. So let's say we have 200 mujtahid, they have ijazah, one of them becomes marja. 2, 1, 2. It's not that. Not everyone who gets ijazah means he became marja. No. Marja'iyya is leadership. This is knowledge. This is knowledge. Marja'iyya is leadership. One item, one prerequisite is knowledge. One. Imam al-Hasan Askari says there are 4. Plus this, there are 4 more. So this is number 1, and you have to obtain 4 more qualities, then you can be a marja. Imam al-Hasan al-Askari has a hadith. He says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْفُقَهَاءِ. Number 1, he's faqih. He has ijazah, faqih. حافظا لنفسه صائلا لنفسه حافظا لدينه مخالفا لهواه مطيعا لأمر مولاه. Each one is more difficult than the other. Each one of them. صائلا لنفسه. Protect your soul. Some people protect their skin against the sun ray, against cold, against heat. No. He says, صائلا لنفسه. Protect your soul against lust, desire. You have power of control. When you see money, when you see women, when you see property, when you see food, when you see positions in the government, no, I don't have that desire. You kill that desire. This is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. And not only 1 or 2 days, throughout your life, killing these desires. It's not easy. This is number 1, صائنا. حافظا لدينه. Your deen is your priority. How oftentimes every day our deen conflicts with the dunya. Every day, many incidents. Always. Dunya and akhirah are in conflict, fighting with each other. Which one do you choose? Do you choose dunya or do you choose akhirah? حافظا لدينه. You have to choose the akhirah. Your deen is more important. مخالفا لهواه. Resisting his desire. We have desires. All sorts of desires. From morning till evening. How many desires we have? Desires for everything. But you have to resist. You have to keep saying, no. I know my soul says do this. I'm not going to say that. Power of resistance. Power of resistance is not easy. And then, مطيعا لأمر مولاه. Listening and obeying the commands of his Lord. These four, when you have them, plus this one, then people at that stage can do taqleed of him. He's qualified for taqleed.
So who makes that decision that that person has done all these 5 steps?
His teachers, because in the seminaries, the final stage of before graduation is the free discussion stage. بحث الخارج. Free discussion, it lasts for 5 years, it could last for 10 years. Yeah, not 1 or 2 episodes. For so many years they go, the professor comes, Ayatollah, he comes, he throws mas'ala and they start discussing it. So he watches his students. He watches their intelligence, their depth. Are they deep or they are shallow? Are they very meticulous, sharp in their mind or not? Do they have good memory or they get mixed up between things? So, and then they come up with answer. They argue with him and he argues with them. Argument. Sometimes they shout.
Is the teacher also a marja, or he could be?
Of course. Most of the time, those who give Bahth al-Kharij are maraja. Most of them, not all of them. I remember when I was student in Qom, we used to go to Al-Jami' Al-A'zam, Grand Mosque in Qom, in the morning. Some Zuwar visitors from the villages, they come, they think that this is ta'ziyah, this is majlis of ta'ziyah, azay, because they see alim. So they come and sit, but they don't understand anything. They look at each other. They don't understand not a single word. What sort of ta'ziyah is this? And then they wait for the alim to recite ta'ziyah, so they cry, no crying. They get bored and they leave. They leave, but they don't know this is not ta'ziyah, this is the highest level of... And sometimes they see the students argue with the alim, they get shocked. Wow, why he's yelling? I said, but this is normal. This is normal. Yeah.
They still doing it?
They still. Sometimes they put some, the security guards, so they don't allow. But sometimes, no, the door is open, they come and they sit, and after 5 minutes, they realize, no, this is not, it's not fun. Let me leave. Yeah. So 2 things. Tawthiq is based on 2 things. Number 1, endorsing him as rawiyah, narrator of hadith. He's a good source of hadith. Take the hadith from him. Number 2 is what, Sister Najat? Number 1, endorsing him as a narrator of hadith. Number 2 is what? Is acknowledging him that he is now a what? Faqih and mujtahid. Faqih or mujtahid. He got the letter of recommendation, letter of endorsement that he is faqih. And then again, Aban ibn Taghlib, Imam al-Baqir said to him, Aban ibn Taghlib, we put his name earlier, Aban ibn Taghlib, Aban ibn Taghlib. Imam al-Baqir ordered him to sit in the mosque of the Prophet, have a special corner in the mosque of the Prophet, and وَفْتِ النَّاسِ وَفْتِ F-F-T. We don't put ya here because we put kasra, F-T. F-T nas means what? Comes from what? F-T is a verb. Huh? What is the noun? Fatwa. Fatwa. Fatwa is the noun and the verb is ifti. Do fatwa. Give answers to people. فإني, look at how Imam speaks to this man, Aban. Allahu Akbar. Imam loved him. فإني, for I am, the Imam says, أحب أن يرى في شيعتي مثلك. I'd love to see in my community someone like you. Someone so qualified, intelligent, knowledgeable, faqih, mujtahid, alim, scholar. I'd love to see people like you in my community. So you are the one who is qualified. Go to Masjid al-Nabi and sit there. People are going to come. You know, at that time, today you may Google, you may send an email, at that time, you have to come yourself to the mosque. Whatever mas'ala you confront, you come to the mosque and ask the scholars there. So that was the place of answering people's questions. The only venue, if you need to learn and if you need to have your questions answered, then you must go to the mosque. You must go to the mosque. Okay? And Imam al-Sadiq ordered someone else to sit in Jami' al-Kufa. This is Jami' al-Madina. Someone else by the name of Ma'adh ibn Muslim. Ma'adh ibn Muslim to sit in Jami' al-Kufa. In Jami' al-Kufa in Iraq and give the fatwa to the people. And sometimes the Imam would defend his students. He loved his students. A teacher not only teaches, but also takes care of their reputation and defends them. If people do not listen to them, the Imam tells his community to listen to them, to appreciate them, to go to them. So Imam does what? Marketing for his students. Imam does marketing because he knows this student is very valuable. It's very special. So I have to market him so people can respect him and listen to him. One of his students, one day, there was a judge in Kufa. The name of the judge in Kufa, Ibn Abi Layla. Can I erase these names here? Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Huh.
Can you read from
Sorry.
number 7?
Huh?
Can you read from number 7?
Number 7, Jamil ibn Durraj. Jamil, the masculine of Jamila. Jamila is feminine, Jamil is masculine. Jamil ibn Durraj. Number 8, Abdullah ibn Muskan. Muskan, not Mushgan, Muskan. Muskan. Number 9, Abdullah ibn Bukair. Bukair, Abdullah ibn Bukair. Number 10, Hamad ibn Isa. Hamad ibn Isa. Number 11, Hamad ibn Uthman. Number 12, Aban ibn Uthman. Number 12. So the judge's name was Ibn Abi Layla. Ibn Abi Layla, a judge, chief judge in Kufa, chief judge in the Supreme Court. Muhammad ibn Muslim, this guy, went to the court to testify. This judge rejected the testimony of this. The news reached Imam al-Sadiq in Medina after so many weeks or months that Muhammad ibn Muslim, one of his top students, went to the court and the judge was Ibn Abi Layla And he said, I don't accept your testimony. So Imam al-Sadiq asked one of his followers to go to Kufa and give 3 questions, fiqh questions, difficult questions, ask this judge. And Imam told him he's not going to answer you because he doesn't know. And then when he doesn't, he gets embarrassed. Tell him at that time, how did you reject the testimony of this man, Muhammad ibn Muslim, who knows these answers better than you? You don't know these answers, but he's more knowledgeable than you. How did you? How did you reject him? Whereas he's more knowledgeable than you. So this man came from Medina to Kufa. He came to the judge. He asked him the 3 questions. He couldn't answer. He said to him, I'm going to bring you someone that you rejected him earlier. His name is Muhammad ibn Muslim al-Thaqafi. He knows. This man is honest and a scholar, trustworthy. So he said, since the Imam al-Sadiq is saying this to me, rebuking me, I will accept his testimony. So Imams would defend their students, defend their integrities. Not only issuing the certificate and tell him go. No, if he knows that people are not respecting him, his testimony is rejected, Imam would follow up on that. That is the process of توثيق. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.